My name is Robin Dodd. I'm a British landscape photographer. I'm just back from Norway. I'm in the woodlands in the UK shooting bluebells. What I'm going to show you is how I use DxO software to refine my images, which I then print and sell as framed images. We're going to have a look at how I use this for landscape photography, wildlife photography, street photography and black and white photography. Morning. It's early. I got up at 5:30. I got up at 4:30 to be down at 5:30 before sunrise. So that's the mad old world of landscape photography, unfortunately. There's supposed to be a little bit of mist, and there has been further up, just clinging to the trees, which is great for woodland photography. I just thought I'd show you this scene here. The idea is we're taking the picture with the fern in front. Everyone loves bluebells. And it's the end of bluebell season. I've been away in Norway, so I'm only here towards the end of the bluebell season. They're pretty much gone, but I couldn't resist coming out and having a look. Diffuse light is what you need for this, so this morning that's the ideal thing, diffuse light. And yeah, I think it works quite well. So it's probably going to be portrait this, and the idea is the image is going to be concentrated around here, and so it's going to be a detailed shot using wide angle. So I can't remember what it is, but it's between 15 and 24 millimeters that I'm using, probably about 20 millimeter. And we get the trees up in the distance then, because they make the trees distant. If you see over here, it's a bit bright here, so we move the highlights. We don't want that to distract too much. So what I'm going to do is move the camera slightly that way in a portrait, so that we only get the more diffuse light and the trees in the background, and not too much of those blurring highlights. But obviously there's quite a bit of light here, which helps. I'm not using a polarizer filter because it's still quite muted. The highlights at the moment, it doesn't make any difference at all using a polarizer filter. Another half hour, then I'll probably need to use a polarizer filter, or maybe shooting in a different direction. So the settings here, the F16, just to get it all in focus, and I've focused on this point here at F16. I think that should do it for the shot, but just as an extra safety measure, I've focused up here, sort of the midway, the focal point, so that we can get everything in focus, and that would make sure the background was in focus as well. But we don't really need to get that background in focus. In fact, for it to be slightly out of focus, that might be better. So that's it really. The shutter speeds that we're using, probably 1.5 seconds, something like that. ISO 400 and an aperture of f16. It's all on the tripod, and that's it. There is a strange mist that has descended, and it looks quite cool. We've got patches of light coming through as well. So we shall continue. I will edit this in DxO shortly now, show you how I've done that. I don't make massive adjustments, but those fine adjustments do make a difference when it comes to having those beautiful prints. I'm off to do my my exhibition. You can see here I've got an exhibition running currently for 3 days with my prints, and yeah, and this is for anyone who is interested in this type of thing. I will then carry on in this video and do some editing for DxO. So I'm affiliated to DxO. I use their software in conjunction with Lightroom and Photoshop. So I normally edit in Lightroom, I then and anything complex like blending, focus stacking, and exposure blending I might do in Photoshop. But then the finishing touches are done in DxO Nik Collection, and there's a new one, Nik Collection 9 has just come out from DxO. There's a few new features with that which were quite good, and yeah, I think you might be interested in that. Those who aren't, feel free to turn off, but make sure you like me, so we can keep the channel going, so to speak, and I'll discuss more about the DxO software shortly. Okay, I'm going to quickly show you here how I edited this in DxO. So the image on the left, that is my final image. The image on the right is the raw file. What I said I was going to do it in portrait, well, I didn't in the end, because actually I decided that I quite liked the draw of the eye to the woodland and the top of the hill in the background with highlights. Just toned down those highlights, which made all the difference. So now let's have a look. So raw on the right and final on the left. Let's show you how I would edit that raw in Nik Collection. Okay, so this is essentially the raw file. I've just done a few adjustments in Lightroom. In particular, if you look at the top, I've toned down the highlights in the top of the woodland, and then basically I'm going to go right click, and I'm going to use the plugin which is the Nik Color Efex 9, and we're going to do that as a copy with Lightroom. Here we are with image opened up in Efex, and so really I'm going to show you what I use. So the toolbar on the right is clear. We need to fill that with the tools that we're going to use. We select the tools on the left. I've got them down to favourites, so I'm going to use the following tool. I'm going to use Pro Contrast. Click on that and add the plus. This is a really good tool to use. There's two parts of it that I use. I either use the correct contrast, which is this one here, so it's just loading up. So I either use the correct contrast here. That's a very subtle change to the foreground that creates, and the other one that I use is dynamic contrast, which is the whole range. You can see that's pulling up the brightness. There we go. I think that looks quite good, so we can turn that on and off, and then on. It just gives it that extra bit of punch. We've got local adjustment tools, so we could put a control line here so it just affects certain parts. There you go, and then the woodlands is darker in the background. Show you that. And there's a number of AI tools that you can use here as well. Depth mask, etc., is a new one which I'll mention in a minute. I don't actually want that control point, so I'm going to delete that. So I'm happy with that. The other one that I sometimes use is the tonal contrast in the front, which I'm going to add here. Now that's overpowering. That's the initial settings that are on there. So just tone all that right the way down, and we're going to just put it in the center here. So I'm going to add another control point. So I'm going to click control point and then click it on, and we just have it in the center. If you want to see where this is being applied to, we just click the overlay buttons and the masks, and you can see it's on the fern, and I just want it around other parts of the area, so I'm going to duplicate and move it around a little bit. Now I'm happy with that, so I'm going to just turn the mask view off, and I'll show you what this looks like on and off. And you can see a slight bit of punch in there. Just zoom in, crispness to it, more detail, but that detail's coming through contrast. The last thing that I might do, and I normally do in Lightroom, but I'm starting to increasingly wonder whether this is maybe a cooler version of it, is this sunlight on the left. So this is like the autumn effect. So I click plus here, it's completely overlaid the alternate effect and gone over the top. You can see it on there. Well, for some people that might be the case. I quite like the alternate effect there in the background. I'm going to keep it higher than I normally did. I would normally keep it down to maybe about 11 or 12 and not go much higher than that. In fact, I'll do that now. Just have a look. There you go. But I don't want it in the foreground. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete it from the foreground, and the way I do that, there's a number of ways. I'm just going to basically do a add local adjustment, and we're going to do it as a control line coming down so that the effect is only up in the up here and not down in the foreground, because it's best to have the foreground pin sharp. So let's turn that on and off. There you go. So you can see that the glow, the shimmer is further in the background, and this is just sort of slight glow to the highlights, and essentially that is the finished image, and then you can just apply and export it either to Lightroom or Photoshop if you wanted to do some more work in Photoshop. Easy, done. Just before I go, I'll just show you that there are a number of other tools. This HSL slider here, that's so you can change colours, the tone and hue of colours within the image. That could be quite useful, and the saturation and the luminance. And I'm just overdoing it here. You can just the range, etc. It's all done here in the HSL slider. Quite useful sometimes. I'll just reset that, because sometimes you might want to change particular. You can use the picker tool. You might just want to change the hue of particular greens. Sometimes make that greener, if you can see. There you go. Okay, just quickly show you something that I do sometimes before my images, before I use them. I do this sometimes in landscape if I have to use a very high ISO. This is just a very good example, because it was while I was shooting landscape here in Norway, and I came across puffins and eagles and that sort of thing. So beautiful puffins, not an awful lot needed for that. I can keep the aperture quite wide and the ISO quite low. Eagles, they came along for a puffin snack. The puffins buggered off pretty quick, and we had the eagles flying around. High ISOs needed for that. So let's have a look at what I've done with the eagle. Let's go into the develop module, and all we need to do is, you can see on the eagle here, it's quite noisy in the develop module. Lightroom has applied some noise reduction, but in my view, not enough. So what we're going to do is click into this really super cool tool, which is preview with process with DxO PureRAW. Okay, so here we are in the tool. You've got Prime Deep, Deep Prime 3 and Deep Prime XD3. I quite like the Prime 3. They're two different tools. Let's zoom in and let's have a look at the image here. So you can see there's a lot of noise in the original RAW file. It appears to be color noise and luminosity noise. It's okay, but it's not brilliant if you wanted a close-up print. Now, I'll tell you how simple and cool this is. All you need to do is go like this to see what it looks like. Look at that difference. I mean, that is just phenomenal. I'll zoom in even more. I mean, that's just brilliant, isn't it? When you consider that image and the amount of noise in it, I think it was 6400 ISO when I started, and this is what I'm coming away with. And the detail in the feathers and that, it must be some kind of AI fill, but it really is good. It uses your camera profiles to really enhance the image. and they do say that this will provide a better raw output than if it was from Lightroom. And all you need to do is click the process now, and you then get your image back, and you can work on it from there. This one is just a quick one to show you how I would do essentially architectural. This was while I was doing the puffins and eagles in Norway. It's a lighthouse, just a snapshot, and so basically I used DxO Silver Efex, which is the black and white converter, and it's a plug-in. And you just come down here, click Silver Efex, and you've got a choice of whether you want to do it as a copy or not. I'm just going to do it copy with Lightroom adjustments. So here we are with it open. I've got it on a white background. I print like that, so that's fine. That's how it's framed. And just very quickly show you how this one works. It automatically converts it into black and white, and on the right hand side it always opens with this film types, and you notice that it was originally red, rust, etc. So if I change the film sensitivity, you can see how this impacts on the contrast of those red tones. That's what it is. There's a film sensitivity here, and it does the different colors. That's how film works. But you've also got these presets for particular types of films, and I just love these. I shoot in analog as well sometimes, and they're very close. So for example, this Kodak 100 T-Max, yeah, that's crunchy street type photography. That's what the real stuff looks like. And then if I'm to flick over to pan Ilford FP4, much less contrast within the scene. So they're very close. You get lots of different choices here. You know, for example, that Ilford Delta looks quite cool as well. Just play around with that. So you just have your film types, change the sensitivity. I'm going to increase the sensitivity so the reds are lighter. And you've got the various tools down here, which you have in Lightroom as well. The important one here is over on the left hand side, which is the basic adjustments tool. Click that one. It says basic, but it's got loads of adjustments on it, so you can change your brightness and all the simple stuff like that within it. But the important ones here for black and white are going to be contrast for you, and importantly amplify blacks and whites, so you can make things blacker and things slightly whiter, and just just do it to what you think is creatively right for yourself. I quite like my image as it is. I'm going to amplify the blacks a little bit. There we go. Soft contrast, powerful tool. You can crank that right up and down, left and right. I'll let you play around with that, but yeah, that's quite a good little tool. And structure, detail, this one here, just move that up and down, and it gives more structure into the scene. There's also another tool down here on the left hand side called Clear View, similar sort of thing, slightly more sophisticated, and that's it. I'm just going to put a little bit of structure up on that. That's good, I like that. And you can refine the structure with the tools lower down, and that's it. Last thing I'm going to show you with this one is you can add local adjustment tools. There's lots of different ones here, as I've mentioned before, AI tools, selection tools. I quite often use this control point tool. So for example, if I want to click on the door there, and I want to make the door brighter, there you go. Or for example, so let's go back out again. Or for example, what else would I want to do with that? I might want to just put that back to what it was. Want to make the blacks blacker, amplify the blacks, as you can see there, just bring the contrast up on that. So for example, that's that door, and maybe for example I wanted to put another one, so I can add a second one here, add onto there, put it on the window, add another control point, put it on the window, and for example, turn the brightness up on that. And if you want to see where the mask is, just go down to here and click on the mask button, and it will show you, and all the areas that are white reveal and all the other ones conceal. That's how that works. And you can come back out of that again, no mask, and you can import your image as to where you want by just clicking the apply button. Done. Okay, what I'm going to show you here is the new item in the Nik software, the DxO Nik software, which is to do with the halation. So essentially it's recreating films like CineStill 800, which are these sort of like garage type films, street photography. There's an emulsion that's been removed from them, and they give this look. The image that you see here on the right, that with the red glow around the Five Guys, that is the original CineStill film that I shot side by side with digital camera. So this is late at night. The problem is with the Five Guys one and the halation with the CineStill original, is that if I zoom in, you see it's a bit fuzzy compared to the digital Canon R5, and that's just what analog is. So you can't really beat on the left the Canon R5 for street photography late at night. Slightly big camera, but you know, if you don't mind that sort of thing, you get some great images. So let's go into this image now to develop it. And here we are in Lightroom, and all we really need to do is right click on that, edit in, and we're going to choose the Nik 9 Color Efex plugin. We choose edit with a copy with the Lightroom adjustments, so you might have done noise reduction and that kind of thing first. Okay, so here we are open. I use a white background as I discussed because these go on prints quite often, and you'll see on the right hand side it's completely blank. We need to load up our halation tool, which is on the left hand side. I click plus and the halation tool appears on the right. It automatically loads up the halation like you would get in CineStill film. So if I click on and off, you can see it on and off. It's applied it all over. The original film showed less around the window, but we can alter that, or was less halation around the window, so we can alter that. We can change the intensity like that, and the spread of it like that. So that's essentially the tool in itself. I'm just going to show you one more clever little trick that DxO have now introduced, and they've introduced this on all their software, and it's this. So let's go to the fog tool. I'm going to add that, so this goes on top. So we've got our halation feel to the film already, but also we've now got the fog tool. Now that does look rubbish, I agree with you, but we can. I only use the fog tool for street photography really. I don't use it for landscape photography, but they've got this really clever little tool here. So if you add the depth mask down here, this is a new AI tool, and if I click here, which is where I want the depth to be. Now we scroll down, and if we see down here we got mask options, we can pull this mask back, elongate it, etc. And so that's your depth. So you can see now we got the mask going further into the background, not affecting the person coming out the door. In fact, just if we put it further forward, you can see it's coming slightly further forward to where the door is, and we could actually make sure that the man coming out isn't covered, and all we do is we add a negative control point. So you just click that, and before you touch it down, you press Alt and then click, and as you can see, that is getting rid of the fog around the chap coming out the door, because there wouldn't be the fog coming out of the actual premises itself. And there we have it, and you can brighten it up, darken it down, etc, etc. So that is how I might use these tools for street photography.
Okay, and don't forget that I've got my website with quite a lot of information on the blog page. That's worth a look to read the blogs, and there'll be a new one on Norway coming up. Lots of great pictures on that.